Hello friends, myself Nalinikanta Jana, HOD Physics, Bharuneswar Mahavidyalaya, Utkal University. Our today's topic is properties of B vector, that is magnetic field strength vector. There are two significant properties of B vector. One is its divergence and the second one is its curl. That means the first property is divergence of B, which is grad dot B, and the second property is the curl of B, that is grad cross B. So, let us derive the expressions for the divergence of B and the curl of B. There are two significant properties of B vector, such as number one is the divergence of B vector, that is grad dot B, and the second one is the curl of B vector, that is grad cross. Let us discuss one by one. The first one is the divergence of B vector. Divergence of a magnetic field strength vector. The concept of a magnetic field strength comes from a magnet, and every magnet has two poles. One is the north pole and the second is the south pole, and there is no magnet with an isolated monopole or more than two poles or even two similar poles. There is no magnet which is of monopole or more than two poles or of two similar poles. Every magnet has two equal opposite poles separated by a small distance apart, and that distance is your magnetic length. Since magnetic monopole or isolated pole is not possible, so the current due to them, the magnetic current due to them have no physical significance, as magnetic monopole is not possible. Hence, the magnetic current due to them has no physical significance. So, magnetic lines of force are either closed loops or go up to infinity. So, magnetic lines of force are closed loops or either go up to infinity. Hence, the number of magnetic lines of force entering into a closed surface is equal to the number of lines of force leaving the surface. Hence, the number of lines of force entering into a surface is equal to the number of lines of force leaving the surface. Thus, the magnetic flux across any closed surface is 0. Thus, the magnetic flux across any closed surface is 0. That is integration B vector dot dA vector equal to 0. But from Gauss divergence theorem, we know that integration of B vector dot dA vector is equal to volume integration of the divergence of the vector field over that volume. But according to Gauss divergence theorem, we know that the surface integration of a vector field is equal to the volume integration of the divergence of that vector field. That is integration B dot dA equal to integration grad dot B dV. Now, comparing equations 1 and 2, we can write. Now, comparing equations 1 and 2, we can write the volume integration of the divergence of the vector field B is equal to 0. Since the volume element is arbitrary, hence grad dot B equal to 0, which implies the divergence of magnetic field vector B vanishes. This is one property of a B vector from which we came to know that the divergence of B vector vanishes. Let us discuss the second property of B vector. Curl of B vector. Let us find what is the curl of B vector. From Ampere's circuital law, we know that the line integral of magnetic field strength is equal to mu 0 times the total current. From Ampere's circuital law, we know that integration b vector dot dl vector equal to mu 0 I. But I equal to integration j vector dot dA vector. So, this b vector dot dl vector equal to mu 0 into, in place of I we can write the surface integration of j vector dot dA vector, where j vector is equal to current density vector and A equal to area of loop. But from Stokes' theorem we know that the surface, the line integral of a vector field is equal to the surface integration of the curl of that vector field. Here we are taking A as the area. According to Stokes' theorem, the line integral of a vector field is equal to the surface integration of the curl of that vector field. Let this is equation 4. Now comparing equations 3 and 4. Now comparing equations 3 and 4, we can write the surface integration of the curl of a vector function is equal to mu 0 surface integration of the current density vector, and this can be written as grad cross B dot dA minus integration of mu 0 j dot dA equal to 0, which implies surface integration of grad cross B minus mu 0 j dot dA equal to 0. Since the surface area of integration is arbitrary, hence equation 5 becomes as grad cross B minus mu 0 j equal to 0, which implies grad cross B equal to mu 0 j, which implies the curl of B is equal to mu 0 times the current density vector. This is also known as the differential form of Ampere's circuital law. So, it is all about the properties of a B, the divergence of a B and curl of a B. Now, we will start scalar and vector potential. Scalar and vector potential. What is the scalar potential and the vector potential? What we know from the properties of a B, just we came to know that the divergence of a vector field B is 0 and the curl of a vector field B is mu 0 times J. Let us start from the divergence of a B which vanishes. That means B vector, if it is met dot product with the delta operator, that means if we have to find the dot product of B vector with the gradient operator, then it is found that the value will be 0 and the divergence of a vector field will be 0 only when the vector field is the curl of another vector function. Let that function may be taken as a vector. So, grad dot B will be 0 only if B vector equal to grad cross A vector, where this A vector can be termed as the magnetic vector potential. So, to explain in detail the magnetic scalar potential and vector potential, let us first discuss the concept of magnetic scalar potential and vector potential. Why these two potentials came? Because in case of our electric field, we know that to explain the electric field, we require three types. One is the vectorial representation, which is known as the electric field strength or electric field intensity. Second one is the scalar representation of electric field, which is known as the electric potential, and the graphical or visual representation of electric field, which is known as the electric lines of force. Exactly in the similar way, if we want to express the magnetic field at a point, then we can need these three things. That means one is the vectorial representation, which is known as the magnetic field strength or magnetic field intensity, and the second one is the magnetic lines of force, whereas the third one is the magnetic potential. But it is found that there are two magnetic potentials. One is a scalar function and the second one is a vector function, for which these two terms are known as magnetic potentials or magnetic scalar potential or magnetic vector potential. Why the concept of two potentials came? So, let us see why there are two potentials in spite of one. From the properties of B vector, we know that grad dot B is equal to 0. And this is possible only when B vector can be expressed as the curl of another function. This is possible only when B vector is the curl of another vector function. That is, grad dot B is equal to 0 if B vector is equal to curl of a vector function, where a vector is equal to a vector function. Because we know that grad cross A equal to 0. This is from vector identity. We know that the divergence of the curl of a vector is 0. Here A is a space coordinate function and also depends on time. But from Maxwell's third equation, we know that grad cross E equal to minus del B by del T. But here B vector equal to grad cross A. So, grad cross E equal to minus del by del T of grad cross A. Since the del operator or gradient operator is a function of space coordinates only, hence it can be taken outside. So, minus grad cross del A by del T implies grad cross E plus grad cross del A by del T equal to 0 implies grad cross E vector plus del A by del T equal to 0. Grad cross E vector plus del A by del T equal to 0, which shows the irrotational character of E vector plus del E by del T, because the curl of this vector vanishes, which shows the irrotational character of E vector plus del A by del T, and hence it can be expressed as the negative gradient of a scalar function, and hence it can be expressed as the negative gradient of a scalar function, that is E vector plus del A by del T equal to minus grad phi, where phi is equal to a scalar function. And rewriting this equation 5, now rewriting equation 5, we get E vector equal to minus grad phi minus del A by del T. Here phi is equal to magnetic scalar potential and A vector equal to magnetic vector potential. If del A by del T is equal to 0, then E vector equal to minus grad phi. That means when the magnetic vector potential is a constant of time, then the electric field strength is equal to the negative gradient of potential. So, what conclusions we can draw from this concept? From this concept, we can conclude that since phi and A both represent the basic electrodynamics, hence they are commonly known as the electrodynamic potentials. Number 1, since phi and A represent the basis of electrodynamics, hence they are commonly known as the electrodynamic potentials. And phi and A both are mathematically functions only. Phi and A vector are mathematical functions only. Number 3, they cannot be measured physically. They cannot be measured physically. And the fourth one, they are not independent of each other. They are not independent of each other, and they define the field vectors E and B uniquely, but themselves are not unique. Number 5, they define the field vectors like E vector and B vector uniquely, but themselves are not unique. This is the basis of the concepts of scalar and vector potential, from which these following conclusions are drawn. Here I finish this class. Many thanks.